I want to see if he can put it down. If he catches the ball well, then we got to go back to the meeting rooms and have some conversation about why this guy isn't ranked higher.
I'm excited about Jonathan Taylor, too, and I really want to watch him run, and he was a track guy, so I'm excited. The guy I'm most excited about right now, though, is Jedrek Wills, the right tackle / guard / left tackle, maybe, out of Alabama. This is a big, physical, nasty, and sweet feet type of tackle, and if that's the kind of thing that you like, then I think you'll like Jedrek Wills. He is very tough. You know, there's a lot of guys who have good feet at tackle. They're athletic and can get in space like you see right there, his ability to sift from block to block. But what he also gives you is the ability to get into people at the point of attack and move bodies around. And that's kind of a lost art with a lot of tackles. You don't have a lot of body movers, and Jedrek Wills is a body mover. But out here, we won't see that. We're going to see that nice athleticism. And it's on tape. I expect it to be on display on this turf.
One of my favorite things about Jedrek Wills is I was able to study him because I was snooping on the computer of Daniel Jeremiah as we were traveling around the country with the Chargers, and he was doing his draft prep. Is the number of times he didn't get one, but he got two, and in sometimes 3 guys that he was able to get his hands on to either open up a lane in the running game or in pass protection. It was remarkable how quickly he went from guy to guy.
Yep.
I'm going to go with someone that DJ's awfully excited about, and that is his number 1 tackle, Mekhi Becton. Why? Because, well, my analysis is surface level, and if you check out social media, Mekhi Becton's got some pretty sweet videos out there of him playing basketball. Mekhi Becton is large. He's big. He's got girth. And he's large, 6'7", 375 pounds. And you mentioned it with Jedrek Wills. Look at how he moves. I mean, this is a mountain that moves.
He's a left tackle.
It's not a dancing bear. It is a dancing mountain. It is a movable island. And if we're going to see this guy run, I mean, I know that I don't even want to put a number on it, but we're here in the 40 is going to impress people for someone as big as he is. Not that you should ever be impressed by a 40 from an offensive lineman, but I have a feeling we're going to get some social media action on Mekhi Becton tonight based on what he can do and the way he can move at the size that he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he is. A very big guy. And that brings us to Make the Call, presented by Verizon. But before we get to that, let's take a look back at last night and some of the folks that we were most impressed with. Justin Herbert was billed as an athletic and maybe underrated athletic quarterback. He goes out, has the second fastest time in the 40, and you see the short throws here, but I know you're going to get to it in a bit. I mean, really put that arm on display. Jacob Eason came in with a billing that he had the biggest arm, and he was able to do that in the throwing drills. Of course, remember, no Tua Tagovailoa, no Joe Burrow in any of the drills, so it really was an opportunity for those quarterbacks that are looking to solidify themselves as the 3rd name taken off the board, and here's the 3rd of those 3, Jordan Love, who, again, when you're throwing and your build is having a great arm and you're Herbert and you're Love and you are Jacob Eason, it's easy to get some people to pay attention. And wow, so as we do Make the Call presented by Verizon, Bucky, which quarterback do you think helped himself out the most? And I believe you're probably going to start right here with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts helped himself a lot because the narrative around Jalen Hurts has been, look, he's a run-first playmaker. He's a guy that does it with his legs. He has terrific intangibles and leadership ability, but certainly he can't win from the pocket. I think we have seen as he throws, he's a much better thrower than people give him credit for. I think it's easy to envision him as kind of like a Dak Prescott 2.0, a guy that is a rugged playmaker, but in the right system where he can win with his intangibles and some selective playmaking, he certainly can get it done.
You know, as we were walking around, I'll just piggyback here on that, Bucky, because just walking around on the field and having the freedom to do that, in years past, we've been tied to a desk and we've covered every drill, but when you can engage with some of the people that are on the field, the thing you heard repeatedly was, Jalen Hurts is helping himself out. Jalen, and you heard, you know, from Mooch, who coach was with him on the whiteboard, he talked about how impressed he was with Jalen Hurts, and then he comes out and shows how well he can throw the ball. Then you go back and you start watching that tape and you look at those numbers athletically and you think about what's possible. You mentioned it with the Dak Prescott. I can't believe that he's now a day 3 guy. Certainly day 2 and probably the front end, I would guess, of day 2 after what we saw last night.
It's going to be interesting. I think Jalen definitely helped himself. I never had any doubt about the arm. His stuff is going to be more about throwing with anticipation, but he's such a unique player because he's such a winner as well. The guy that I thought money helped himself the most, and I did think Jalen helped himself, I thought Justin Herbert really helped himself, and here's why. Coming in, he was the presumed number 3, but all the buzz we've been hearing is Jordan Love, Jordan Love, Jordan Love, and then Jacob Eason, who I'm kind of tying to the Tampa Bay Bucks in the middle of the first, very specifically. You know, he's starting to, you know, to jump into that conversation. I thought that Justin Herbert had a great day throwing the football yesterday, and right here, the deep balls, he was on the money just about every single time. It came out of his hand nicely. He proved and once again reminded people that he has special arm talent. But one of the things I really liked, I went back behind the quarterbacks. I wanted to kind of get a feel for the quarterbacks, and I thought Justin Herbert was reminding me in some ways. He wasn't vocal necessarily, but he was reminding me of Carson Wentz. When Carson Wentz was here, he had that same size, the same body type, the same athletic ability. And the thing that I really like about Justin Herbert is not only is it the arm type, it just didn't seem too big for him. Now, his issues are going to be the same issues off the field that he can't answer here is, can he control a room of alpha males? Can he be the alpha male to control the alpha males? We're not going to find that out here.
Yeah, and, one of the things that was asked of Justin Herbert was, will he be willing to cut it loose? Is he going to stop aiming his passes and just letting his talent take over
Sometimes he
and
did.
Let it rip? And we saw that at some points. And the next person I'll bring up just quickly to kind of get to all of them, Jordan Love, because you don't often say, hey, all these guys helped themselves, but they all did. And you saw that with Jordan Love. He started out a little tentative. Those shorter routes looked like he was aiming them, and it looked like it was a little bit of a struggle for Jordan Love at the start. But the second half of the night and the second half of his drills and his throws, you saw it. You saw that arm talent. You saw him start to uncork it, and, man, there were some impressive throws out here. And I guess that's the best way I'll put it, Buck. I think you have Jordan going to the Raiders at 12. I don't think there's going to be any quarterback. I think the top four are going to be off the board by the time we get to number 12. I think all four of these quarterbacks are going to end up going Tua, Burrow, Jordan Love, and Justin Herbert in the top 10. If you want one, you're probably going to have to come up and get them.
Well, I mean, if that happens, that would be a remarkable feat because we've seen when teams take all these quarterbacks in the top half, most of them typically don't pan out. So where is that line of demarcation? Right. The one thing I like about Justin Herbert and why I am a believer in Justin Herbert, you talked about the athleticism, the arm talent, high football IQ, a lot of experience. I think he plays winning football. And in today's game, if your quarterback can consistently make enough plays to get you to the winner's circle, you really can't ask for more.
Yeah, no doubt. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. So it was a heck of a night with the quarterbacks. The one quarterback that did not participate and was healthy enough to do so was the presumed number 1 pick, Joe Burrow. Colleen Wolfe and our man Hawk had a chance to catch up with him.
He won a national championship, he won the Heisman, and now we are the real winners because 2019, it was like the year of Joe Burrow. Welcome in. And now,
appreciate it.
Listen, we talked a little bit ago to Thad Moss, and he said that you're kind of a nerd. How do you respond?
I'll take that. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm kind of a science geek, a little nerdy with cartoons, stuff like that.
What do you mean you're a science geek?
I'm into the whole physics thing.
The whole physics
What
thing.
does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Expound.
You gotta have longer than however long we have right here.
Okay.
Fine. Put into perspective this past season for you. Obviously, there were so many highs. I mean, just tell us kind of how that was for you.
Yeah, the crazy thing is we kind of knew it was going to happen. When we talked about the national championship being in New Orleans, we talked about back in February when we won it, not if we were going to be there. Like, we would talk about, oh, it's going to be in New Orleans when we win it. It's going to be crazy after the game, like stuff like that.
So you knew even before the season started that this was going to be the outcome?
Back in February, March, we knew the work we were going to put in. We knew the kind of players we had. We knew the coaches we had.
Did you ever have a different dream other than the NFL?
I wanted to be a basketball player first.
Okay.
Freshman, sophomore, junior year of high school, I thought I was going to be a basketball player. And then all the football offers started coming in, so I chose football instead.
Did you get recruited for basketball at all?
I could have played both at a couple schools that were recruiting me. Yeah, they said I could play both.
Same,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
They love my height. So who's your favorite basketball
He's like
player?
always dunking.
Well, I'm from Ohio, so it's got to be LeBron.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
So
slash Deli.
Oh, you're a true Cleveland guy. And then if you like Deli.
Absolutely.
My son's favorite player was Deli.
Really?
Yep, fun fact.
Kind of our responsibility to ask you about your thoughts on retirement.
Yeah.
Like where are you? Where's your head at right now?
I'm still contemplating.
Okay, cool.
These guys aren't big enough. Apparently.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's crazy.
Tiny hand club here.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, a lot of the projections have you going to the Bengals.
I'm sure you haven't heard it.
I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, so I'm going to be the first to tell you.
I've heard something like that.
Okay, well, follow me. I'll make sure you get all the information. My question is, and a lot of the Cincinnati fans are going to want to know, are you a Gold Star chili guy, a Skyline chili guy, or none of the above?
So I've never had Gold Star, but I've heard it's very similar to Skyline, so none of the above.
None of
Wow,
the. You're not
really?
a Skyline chili guy at all.
Skyline chili guy. Sorry,
Wow.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
It's not my favorite.
Well, there goes those marketing dollars, Joe.
The amount of Louisiana love in this photo is awesome. What was this experience like?
That was awesome. You know, I was a Saints fan growing up because of Drew. So this was, you know, that was right before the national championship game. So I was trying to act cool, like talk about the coverages that Clemson was going to play, act like I knew what was going on, but deep down I was like, that's Drew Brees, like I'm talking to him.
There it is,
was
Joe.
awesome.
Cool.
You used your Heisman platform to kind of bring attention to what was going on in your hometown. I mean, you raised so much money. How did it feel to be able to bring that type of attention and then just have the reward of seeing it kind of pay off?
Yeah, you know, I didn't do any of it. I just mentioned them in my speech, and everyone else that donated. It was a blessing for the community, and all I did was mention my hometown and something that helped me get there. I wanted to, you know, in my speech mention all the people that helped me get to that moment, and Southeast Ohio played a big part of it, and the fact that everyone came out and donated. I think it helped a lot of people throughout Christmas, so I was really proud of that.
Amazing.
As part of your tradition, now you can go enjoy all of the caramel
That's what
apple
I'm talking
pops.
about. Thank you.
Not gonna lie, those are disgusting.
Joe Burrow.
Stop.
Hey, Joe, I'm just telling you my opinion, man. It's Twitter.
When's the last time you had one?
I have like 6.
I've never had one.
I'm a blow
How
pop
long
guy.
ago was that?
100 years.
There
Joe,
you
I'm
go.
old, okay?
There you go. So I'm going to have to open this and give you one.
We're going to share one then. We're going to share a caramel apple pop.
There you
Wow, it's like Lady and the Tramp all over again. Joe, thanks for stopping by. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, Joe.
All right, well done, Wolfie. Well done, Hawk. As Joe Burrow did not participate in any of the drills, but did engage in quite a compelling interview. When we return, we will get to your biggest risers from the wide receiver group in day one of our Combine and preview the running backs for tonight's Combine. It's Combine Today, presented by Verizon. Back here on Combine Today, presented by Verizon. It wasn't just the quarterbacks last night, but the wide receivers as well. And it was a battle at the top. A lot of folks had Jerry Jeudy as their number one receiver. Ended up putting up a nice number there, a 4.45 with that 6'1", 193 frame. You see there that fade route. And there will be more to come from that, by the way, in just a minute. Here he is, just so casually, easily with those soft hands, bringing in the deep ball. And Henry Ruggs, well, everybody paused when he stood to that line and ended up posting that 4.27 40-yard dash, and you had some folks, Ruggs included, disappointed with a 4.27 because we thought maybe we would see history made in the fastest 40 in combine history. Alas, it was not to be. But you want to talk about the performance of the night. It came from CeeDee Lamb, and it probably shouldn't be too surprising what he was able to do. He came in as the #1 receiver. We talked about yards after catch, about those hands, about his ability to make everybody miss. And you want to talk about body control. If you missed it on social media last night, the newly introduced fade, the end zone fade pattern that was just brought this year. Get a look at what CeeDee Lamb did with that pirouette. Both feet, by the way, inside that line. And it ended up being the highlight of the night. And beyond CeeDee Lamb, also someone who certainly solidified his position in the first round, Laviska Shenault as well, out of Colorado, putting on a show. You said it, Bucky. DJ said it coming in. I think DJ said 27 receivers in the first 3 rounds, the largest number he has ever scouted. I'm sure the both of you are very close in step with that, but it was an exciting group. And as we now get to the road to Vegas, presented by Caesars Palace, an official host of the 2020 NFL Draft, we get to the biggest riser. Not necessarily the most impressive, because, boy, there was a lot of that last night, but a wide receiver that certainly helped himself yesterday.
Denzel Mims continues the conversation about climbing up the board. When you look at Denzel Mims coming out of Baylor, Big 12 standout player, outstanding performer. Then he goes to the Senior Bowl and absolutely wrecks shop. He was killing it on the outside, great route runner, but everyone thought, oh, this is a 4.5 guy. He pops a 4.39, and now the narrative changes. Now the conversation is Denzel Ward a #1 playmaker? Can he be a #1 wide receiver? He has certainly helped himself and changed the narrative surrounding his game.
See, and the other thing, and I'm going to agree with Bucky here, I think it was Denzel Mims, and here's the reason. He's got size. You look at a similar guy, a similar time, a 4.38 from Devin Duvernay, right? But Mims ran a bananas 6.663 cone. Then he comes around, then he turns around and he jumps like 40 inches in his vertical, and then he goes out on the field and has a good workout as well. He showed short area quickness. He showed long speed. He's got the size. Now you tie it to the Senior Bowl performance, as you mentioned, Bucky, and all these boxes start to come into place. And, issues for him, I think he needs to play more physical, honestly. I think he needs to, get after press as much as press gets after him.
Yeah.
But you start to check off a lot of athletic boxes here and performances dating back to the Senior Bowl. And he's really helping himself money dating back to the end of January through now. He definitely helped himself.
And we know, we say it, and, well, you can't put too much stock in the 40. Be careful now. Make sure you go back to the tape. And, of course, you'll do all of that. But for Chase Claypool, it started at the bench. And when he climbed underneath that 225 and threw it up over 20 times, I think he threw it 21 times, and then you think about the measurables, you look at the body and the body type, and I know you always say it, Buck, you got to put together that basketball team. When you have a chance to go for someone who's built like a tight end, at 6'4" plus, 230 pounds plus, and then he does this and puts up a 4.45 in the 40, and that changes everything for Chase Claypool.
It changes everything because there were people that were viewing him as a guy that could be a standout special teamer, maybe a 3rd or 4th receiver. Well, now when you have that big body, you have the dimensions that put him in the conversation with Calvin Johnson.
Those are the only two. That size, that speed. There are 2 guys who have ever done it, and those are the 2, Calvin Johnson and Chase Claypool.
So there's a coach out there that is like, hey, he just needs a little skill development, a little skill refinement, and away we go. And so he helped himself. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he was okay. But now you put together that kind of athletic testing numbers.
Well, and you know what? I almost think back to last year, and, recency bias, man, it is dangerous. And when you think about how far, and I'm not saying he's DK Metcalf, but he's got the big body, he's got the strength, he's got the speed, and you think about how far, for whatever reason, Metcalf slipped, and it was what? Well,
it's a mistake.
Is it just a one-trick pony? Is it and look what he was able to do in Seattle.
Well, and here's the other thing. So they're different types of wide receivers. DK is more of an explosive, but he's a straight liner. He's a tight hip guy. Not Chase Claypool. He's really not. You could see him in the way he was striding. He can open his hips up. He's also an excellent gunner. So you have that special teams talent right off the bat. teams are going to want to put him on the field right after.
And he'll make an impact, even if it's just on special teams. I don't know normally that's your later rounds, but still, he will make a major impact at part of your, one of the three phases.
And I had a tight end coach before we went on set just yesterday telling me I want this guy as my tight end. Like I want to make him a matchup tight end that we can flex wide and do some different things with, because he'll also get after you as a blocker. So I think the versatility. He's not a tweener. I think he's versatile. Yeah. And I think that really helps his cause.
Turns out versatile good these days. And that was the Road to Vegas presented by Caesars, as they are an official sponsor of the 2020 draft.
Dobbins around the corner. Off and running again. What a run by J.K. Dobbins. Boom. Foot on the gas and go. Dobbins in the clear. Off to the races.
All right, that brings us to Best of the Best, presented by Verizon. And, Bucky, here are your top 5 running back prospects. DeAndre Swift at the top. You can see all those below. Jonathan Taylor, you talked about at the top of the show, is someone you are excited to see tonight. J.K. Dobbins, we've discussed a whole lot. But let's start with, I think, is an easy one for each of you. Bucky has started number 1 back in the draft.
DeAndre Swift. I call him the natural, because everything that he does, he makes it look easy. He can run it inside and run in between the tackles and avoid contact. He can go outside. He has the speed to take it the distance. He can make plays in the passing game, catch it out the backfield, win option routes, be a great player in the screen game. Even in pass protection, he can do it all. He is a 3-down running back, a running back that is destined for stardom. He goes to the right place. I think this guy's going to pop right away.
Agree, Lance?
Yeah, I agree. And I liken him to Frank Gore. The ability the smooth hips, the ability to get in and out of his cuts. One of the things that makes him special to me is he can make you miss in the open field where he eyeballs you, and he can make a quick cut without gearing down at all. And that ability, that change of direction without gearing down, that's a big deal. He has less tread off the tires than, say, a Jonathan Taylor, who I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. But you ask about that, Bucky. Why do we have DeAndre Swift ahead of Jonathan Taylor? Probably because Taylor's got about 1,000 touches, and there's not as much tread off the tires for DeAndre Swift.
Malcolm Gladwell said it takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to master your craft. He's just trying to master his craft.
And you know what's interesting about that? It was based off one single case, and Malcolm Gladwell repurposed it. It was a piece, I believe, in like the Toronto newspaper about a violin player, and the violin player wasn't successful. That's what's so crazy about the whole 10,000 hours.
prospects.
Exactly. So beyond the 10,000 hours, sorry, it's a tangent that we did not need to go on. How about a running back that has something to prove tonight?
Cam Akers from Florida State. Okay. Cam Akers is underrated. Cam Akers was a big-time prospect coming out of high school, goes to Florida State. Never necessarily got his just due. The program was in shambles, didn't get a chance to start. When you look at the tape, though, he got some of that wiggle. He can play some of that wildcat quarterback because that's what he did in high school. He's physical. He finishes. He is the guy, much like Josh Jones. Underrated, didn't get enough carries, as Lance would like, he didn't get enough, a lot of tread on the tire. He's a guy that could pop at the next level.
How about it, Lance?
Well, first of all, I'm totally with Bucky on Cam Akers. I think he's wildly underrated right now. I think A.J. Dillon is someone who has something to prove out here. Yeah. And this is, so when he was 239 pounds as a high school player, twice he won a Spark contest in high school. At 239, he ran a 4.56. He ran a low, like a 4.26 short shuttle. He vertical jumped over 37 inches. He is a good athlete for a big man. He's 247 right now. And let me tell you, he's a pretty interesting outside zone back. He's got the ability to stick a foot in the ground and go. I think that if he can come out here and show you an athletic profile for a big man, then he could be the next James Conner on the next level.
Ooh, I like that comparison. That's what I have in my notes.
Okay. Are they your notes or were they?
No, they're his.
They're my notes.
They're the only notes you can have on that guy. That's who he is.
Stole Conner from
my notes.
We share the same brain.
That's right.
Movie Sticks podcast.
Simpatico. All right. So that is Best of the Best presented by Verizon Fios. Speaking Best of the Best, how about someone who put on a heck of a tight end performance last night? Harrison Bryant, who is with Colleen Wolfe and our man Andrew Hawkins.
Florida Atlantic Zone here. Harrison Bryant joining us here in Indianapolis. All right, so describe the week for us. How you feeling right now?
I feel really relaxed right now. The whole week was a huge build-up, a lot of interviews, obviously a huge workout for us, but now I kind of can relax and just decompress a little bit.
Is there an aspect of the combine that you feel like you did really well?
I mean, interviewing, the medical and stuff, I feel like went really well. I came out on the field, did all right, hit the numbers that around what I was trying to hit, so it was a successful day.
What do you think stands out about your game?
Just really my versatility. At FAU, I kind of lined up everywhere on the field, and I showed that I can play any position, X, Y, Z, F, H. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that stands out.
Is there an NFL player that you look up to or you model your game after?
I'm a huge George Kittle fan.
George Kittle fan?
Who isn't,
yeah,
right?
He lines up everywhere. He blocks really well, and most of all, he's just a huge competitor. Just the way he plays and carries himself is awesome.
Personality is one of the best in the game, too, right?
It's okay. It's fine. No. Obviously, like you standing here right now, you were a 0-star recruit, and you went after it. I mean, you were emailing, like you were pitching yourself.
I was trying to just going into my senior year, I was registering to just go to college at like UGA and Georgia Southern just to go get my degree and stuff.
So what was the pitch? I mean, how are you even doing this?
I was throwing everything I could out, emailing people, messaging people, and at the end of my senior year of high school, Samford FCS school, they offered me at defensive end, and their OC went to FAU, and they offered me at tight end a week before signing day, and the rest is history now.
So I was a 1-star recruit and went and played 7 years in the NFL. You had me beat by a long shot, right? So if there's high school kids watching right now that feel like they're underrated, what is the message you would give to them?
Just keep trusting the process, and all you need is one team to trust you and fall in love with you and give you that offer. I mean, even walk-ons on my team have been very successful, so all you need is your foot in one college team's door and just go to work, and at the end it's going to pay off.
Was there any coaches that have reached back out and said, hey, Harrison, we were wrong about you?
Nobody's really reached out to me, but my high school coach says every time like a college coach comes in, they're like, dang, we really missed out on him, and he's like, I told y'all about it. So, it's just nice to,
it's just nice to flex on everybody.
You could say that, but just, I was just grateful for the opportunity at FAU, and it really worked out for me.
Absolutely.
So did you gain 30 pounds from?
Yeah, I went into FAU about 215, and then I started this year 248. So at FAU, the strength coach Whitson Love, he was huge, helping me develop, and it was a lot of Costco trips and just cooking a lot of stuff and just trying to eat everything.
I mean, you talk about coaches. What about head coach Lane Kiffin? What was he like?
He's a character. I mean, a lot of people, you see his Twitter, you see him in interviews and stuff, and just the way he carries himself, and he ran the program great. If you did what you're supposed to do, played well, it was easy. I was with him for 3 years, so it was an easy 3 years for me. Just later on in my career, too, we started to kind of build a relationship more and, start talking a lot, and he's just a funny guy, and he's laid back and likes to have fun.
Well, Harrison, there are a ton of amazing Harrisons out there in the world, and I feel like you're probably the best judge of who are the best Harrisons. So I just want to get an idea here. If you can rank your top 5 Harrisons for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I got to start off with Harrison Ford because actually I'm
That's
named,
your number one guy?
Yeah, I'm named after him.
You're named after
really?
Yeah, my parents told me that was who I was named after, so I had to go with him.
Do you have a favorite Harrison Ford movie?
The one where I don't remember the name of it, but where the train wrecks and prisoners or something. I don't remember the name.
Fugitive?
Yes. Yeah, that's.
Do you have a nickname?
Harry B. That's what they call me.
Harry B. Your new nickname is Fugitive.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's so perfect.
Like
He's elusive.
Tell all your friends.
He's elusive. Remember that. You learned it here.
That's amazing.
All right, who's number 2?
Yeah.
I got to go with myself.
Okay.
Okay. Hey.
I like that you didn't go number 1 with yourself.
Yeah, I was named after him, so I had to show respect.
Okay, your namesake.
And then I got to go with James Harrison.
Harrison. Okay.
All right, James Harrison, you're the second best
Prince
football
Harry
playing
and Harry
Harrison.
Potter not getting any love
You heard it here.
If you watch The Bachelor, Chris Harrison is from The Bachelor.
I'm a little Bachelor fan.
Okay.
We got to go Harrison Smith.
Okay. There we go.
I'm liking the list, man.
Yeah. And then finally,
here's the hard one.
George Harrison was a Beatle. I mean, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but a lot of my friends and my girlfriend's a huge Harry Potter fan. She's tried to get me to watch the movies, but I'm like,
there you go.
Not a big fan, but I'm going to go with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter over the Beatles.
There it is.
Hard
Feast
to
your
argue.
eyes on the definitive list of the top Harrisons right here. I mean, we have our own that we just got to talk to. Harrison, thanks for stopping by. Best of luck and continued success.
Thank you.
Great luck, man.
Hey, it happens, man. Next Gen Stats, powered by Amazon Web Services. Oh, they crunch the numbers and they post their scores 1 to 100. And these are the tight ends with a 99 athleticism score from the last 5 drafts. Talk about athletes, Noah Fant. Evan Ingram and O.J. Howard don't know what the score would be were it for hands. Different conversation. Cynthia Freeland with us to help make sense of it. Did we get a 99? Well, yeah, we did. I just showed it. We got ourselves a 99 last night with our man Albert O.
You ruined it. Albert O has the 99. Kind of maybe unexpected expected because we weren't really talking about him this time yesterday. So that athleticism score, that's off the charts. It's great. There are some other factors that goes into what the next-gen stats do to compile this entire score. But as far as athleticism goes, he did a great job. One of the things that you're going to want to see here, you talked about CeeDee Lamb and that his nice blazing 40. He's 60 pounds heavier and ran 1/100th of a second faster, which that's kind of amazing.
Kind of jumps off the screen.
It totally jumps off the screen. The other thing, when you go back to watch the film on him, you see he's really used only in the red zone. There weren't a lot of targets that he received in college that were outside the red zone. So the fact that he has this blazing speed could make scouts, coaches go back, reevaluate. Hey, how can we use him kind of in longer yardage situations? Because we didn't see a lot of those deep runs.
Yeah, look, he could be a seam runner. When you have that kind of speed, you put him on the outside, you put him down the slot, you let him exploit mismatches against linebackers. That athleticism is going to make a creative offensive coordinator kind of go to the drawing board and think, what could I do with Alberto?
Yeah, and you mentioned it, the 4.49 40 at 258 pounds. Cynthia, because it's an interesting tight end class, right? We heard coming in that Cole Kmet seemed to be the #1 guy, but then a lot of people got excited watching Harrison Bryant. What does this do for his draft status, you think, Bucky, with that kind of size and that kind of speed? And you just said it, Cynthia, the fact that the guy's got more red zone touchdowns at the position than anybody else in FBS.
Oh, it puts him on the radar. I mean, are you talking about a guy that was off the grid? We knew that he scored some touchdowns and he was a red zone weapon, but now with this kind of speed, you do begin to wonder, can he be a developmental guy? Can he be a guy that comes in, maybe as a later-round pick, and emerges as something that's more than that?
He only had 16 receptions of 15 or more yards in the past 2 seasons, so it was kind of head-scratching, right?
Yes.
But now, when you have an outlier, so when that's really, really fast 40, an outlier, it does make people go back and say, hey, in this class, who could be the guy that we could be creative with?
Yep.
Like you said, Bucky, someone will believe in that. You see that speed.
Somebody.
And that kind of production. All right, that was Next Gen Stats powered by Amazon Web Services. Still ahead. We get to those running backs. As tonight it's O-linemen, running backs. We'll do a deeper dive on the position when we return here on Combine Today, presented by Verizon.
Tackle Jedrek Wills on the right side. Beautiful job at securing the edge.
They'll keep it on the ground again, and it walks in. Touchdown, Alabama.
How many times have you seen this?
All right, back here, Combine Today, presented by Verizon. Bucky, get a look at your top 5 offensive tackle prospects. Jedrek Wills at the top. Wirfs, you like W's there. The tackle, some project him as a guard. Many project him as a tackle. People in Iowa get upset when you project him as a guard. Tristan Wirfs, Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton, Josh Jones there out of Houston. Let's look, we like offensive linemen. Anybody that's around football understands how important the position is. And by the way, the dearth of quality O-linemen we have in the league and how that's affected play. And you see teams make it to the Super Bowl that have good offensive lines. So I think maybe the easier way for people to digest it is to do comps and remind people, hey, you may not have paid attention to Alabama tackles, but this is who they can be at the next level. So let's start with Jedrek Wills and a comp, someone who's in the league that you can kind of help convey how good of a player this guy is.
Jason Peters. Jason Peters, when I look at Jedrek Wills, I see Jason Peters in his prime. Remember, Jason Peters was so athletic coming out of college. He was a tight end. Undrafted free agent, they take him in Buffalo, they move him to tackle, and away they goes. He's become a multiple-time Pro Bowler. When I look at Wills, his athleticism is off the charts. There you see that little skip pull come around. He has everything, and I know we're conditioned to think that right tackles are the inferior position of the two, but he is so good that he can play on the other side if he needs to. This is a bully, a Broad Street bully on the block.
Yeah, I'm going to go with your the very next guy on your list, which was Tristan Wirfs, and his money said, forgive me, Iowa.
Oh, they won't.
They will not forgive you, Lance. To Brian Bulaga because he can play tackle or guard. So I'm sorry I even mentioned the G word.
Bulaga play tackle, so there, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, look, he can play either position, tackle or guard. One of the things, they both have that great core strength. I think they both have a wrestling background, similar size profiles. One of the things I really like about Tristan Wirfs is that I think he's got some really nice feet. Now, he has a problem with oversetting, meaning he puts too much weight on his outside foot and people beat him inside. That's coachable. And I think for me, I would rather let him play tackle and then move inside to guard if he can't handle tackle, because I think he has that type of talent. But he's not a great dry blocker. That's the one thing. People want to compare him to Brandon Scherf, and he's not Scherf.
All right, so how about Andrew Thomas?
Andrew Thomas reminded me a little bit of Juwan James. From Miami. When you look at Juwan James, the success that he has had, you can see Andrew Thomas having similar success at the next level. Kind of a bully, a guy that can kind of move around on the outside, can knock people around, can move people off the ball. At the end of the day, you want people that can move the furniture. He's a furniture mover.
Yeah, the other thing I like about him is that, Buck, he's played right and left tackle.
Versatility.
In this day and age, if you play tackle, I want you to play both tackles. If you play tackle, I want you to also play guard. And it's that versatility that I also like with him. The guy that I want to end up with here is, let's see, number 4 on your list was, Mekhi Becton.
Oh, yeah.
Big Becton.
Yeah.
The mountain of a man, as Bill Smith calls him. And he is a mountain of a man. And another mountain of a man was Bryant McKinney out of Miami.
Yes.
And that is his comp for me. And I think this is actually a lot easier comp for me than Tristan Wirfs' comp. Mekhi Becton is a powerful,
He's getting ready for today, by the way.
Mean player. When you watch him, Money, you talked about his highlights. He's got highlights where I even put on weaknesses, needs to play under control. Because there are times that he's looking to embarrass you, your family, people on your family tree who don't have anything to do with that particular rep. And he's just trying to throw them all over the place. And he does it successfully. And that's that kind of same power and toughness and nastiness that Bryant McKinney had.
I'll tell you, working for the Chargers, you play the Raiders twice. And when you go down on the field and you just see the sheer size of their offensive line, specifically Trent Brown, it's just different. I mean, when you have the ability to play the position and then on top of it, you're 6'7", 380 pounds, it looks different when you stand on the field and you see guards and other tackles standing next to them. Just the advantage that they must have. Now, what do offensive linemen do? Well, they block and they open holes for running backs. And a good running back and a good offensive line can certainly progress, I should say, could enhance and progress the, I don't know what I'm trying to say, the progression of a quarterback and how quickly they can assimilate. Yes, with all these young quarterbacks in the league, that's what we're saying. You need a good running game. So let's get into team needs and teams that you believe need to address the running back position here in this draft, because we're going to see the running backs along with the offensive linemen here tonight.
Oh, the Miami Dolphins need to address the running back position. Right now they have Keelan Billage slated to be their RB1. They need to get better. They need someone who is dynamic, particularly if they draft a young quarterback. Luckily, in this draft class, at the running back position, there are more than enough options for guys to be able to come in, not only contribute, but come in and make an immediate impact. The Miami Dolphins have to find a way. They need to find their own Larry Zonker, Mercury Morris, Jim King. They got to find somebody that can be able to get it done.
Man. Some old names right there.
I mean,
we're talking 30, 40 years ago.
I mean, that's
how our back we got to go.
Yeah.
Ricky Williams, the next Ricky Williams.
It's been a while. How about I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. And, when you look at the Falcons and their run to the Super Bowl, we talk about Matt Ryan and his great MVP season, but really it was built in large part on Kyle Shanahan's play calling, the outside zone running of Devontae Freeman and Coleman. And right now, Freeman averaged less than 4 yards a carry last year. For the last couple of years, it has not been the same from a running game standpoint. And Matt Ryan, I feel like he's putting up numbers, but it's not really having a big impact. And I think if you can find an every down, every day back, maybe not the running back by committee approach that they had previously, get back to a bell cow running back attack, one guy and then a complimentary guy behind him. And this is the draft to do it in, by the way. I think that would really make a difference for their offense. You
routinely hear when discussing teams with the best offensive lines, and you know what I'm going to point out, by the way? Having a great offensive line and running game can expedite the process of maturation for a quarterback. There we go. I got it right.
There you go.
Pittsburgh has one of the best offensive lines. They've got quality pass catchers. They have a fantastic defense. What happened to them last year? What derailed their run at the postseason? Well, James Conner was banged up, and everybody's getting excited. Oh, I think Benny Snell might be able to do it. Oh, Jalen Samuels might be able to do it. No, they can't. This is a team that needs a dominant running game, and Conner has shown that it's tough for him to stay healthy. And even when he was in the lineup, just wasn't 100%. So considering the value that you can typically get at the running back position in that second, in that third round, I think it's a no-brainer for the Steelers to try to create some more depth at that position, especially, look, anybody would like to have the next Le'Veon Bell, but a full-service back, a back that can catch the ball to the backfield.
But I thought we could find running backs anywhere.
Huh?
I thought we could just pick up. We can go around the block and find anybody.
Yeah, turns out.
Stand on any corner. Just any
Mostert,
running back.
You just got to find a guy that's getting on his 7th team, and that's the secret to success in a Super Bowl berth. All right, so there you go. A couple two-tree teams that could use themselves a running back. You can always use speed. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. And speaking of speed, how about Henry Ruggs with Colleen Wolfe and Andrew Hawkins?
He's got the speed, and he ran over here. Henry Ruggs III from Alabama. What is up? Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you're 40. It was a thing. Let me first tell you that when you ran, it was so quiet in here. That was because usually it's quiet in general, but you could seriously hear a pin drop.
It's what we came for. It's what everybody wanted to see.
So 427 unofficial.
Okay.
Which, listen, everybody was freaking out on Twitter about it. How you feeling about the speed? I know you wanted to break the record, but you still, you're insanely fast.
I want to say I'm disappointed. That was a pretty good time, but I feel like the start just wasn't there, so I didn't get what I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 2 people in the NFL who can run 4.27s. So you were already in elite company. Check this out. We got
This is you and John Ross up against each other, and look, you are right there.
Yeah.
I feel like you burned the soles off of your shoes there.
See, I wish he could actually be here and be beside me. I probably would beat him there.
Right?
I like that. We got to do a race competition.
This
you said
is
that
something
earlier.
we've been talking about, and now we're going to have to put it into effect next year.
Yeah.
So
Somebody
overall,
tell our bosses.
How do you feel about your combine experience?
It's been a great experience. It's a learning experience. Meeting all the coaches, meeting with all the teams. It's definitely been exciting, and like I said, I'm learning a lot of things, learning different terminology and different ways of being coached about the game. So I'm excited, and I'm having a good time.
You've spent months preparing and training for this. Is there kind of a sense of relief that it's over and now you can focus on the next step, pro day and the draft?
Kind of, but not really. I'm not out there running routes right now, so I feel like I still got some left. So I definitely had that chip on my shoulder for pro day.
What did you want teams to learn about you? What did you want them, kind of the lasting impression of you when you left the room? In those interviews.
That I was not a speed guy. I know the game. I'm ready to study. I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to come in and do what I have to do for my organization.
So you're official now 427, obviously.
News.
In that, breaking news.
Official time 427.
Okay.
One of the fastest times in NFL history.
Which, listen, when people come here to the Combine, I feel like everyone obviously wants to show the best of the best. They want all of these teams to want them. And the competition is insane. And you had a ton of competition also at Alabama. What do you think that competition that you had at practice, how did that make you better?
It just makes you better because, everything is magnified. So when you got guys like that, you might have a game with 1 catch, you might have a game with 10 catches, but you never know. You just got to always be prepared for any opportunity, and And that's one thing that's going to always make you better and make you go 100% every day.
I'm watching this. I mean, this catch here was incredible. Take us through this.
Well, it was a little glass route. I got inside. You know, I saw the ball in the air. It just kind of felt like I wasn't going to be able to stop. So jumping in the air was actually to slow me down. And it was just reach out one hand and go get it. I mean, I try to do crazy things like that after practice, and it comes in handy.
And here it goes. So what did Saban say to you after that catch?
Of course, he's not gonna brag. He's
not
gonna show no emotion.
He's
just
gonna tell you good.
Nice? He's just gonna tell you good catch, good job. You know, give you a little pat on the back. And
yeah, let's just keep him moving.
Let's keep playing.
As usual.
Yes,
right. Like, what's the nicest thing he's ever said to you?
Good job, son.
So you can expect the Saban text when you leave the combine.
Yeah.
Right.
Good job, son.
Exactly. This was something else that really jumped out to us, literally.
Yeah. Like
because hey,
Pun.
I mean, people had to have been freaking out when this happened. This was in high school?
Yeah, 12th grade year. That was a crazy play. I had it in my mind once I got past that guy. I was going in, I was going for the dunk, and when the guy got in the way, he's just like, I got to do what I got to do.
Explosion is what that shows.
Right.
The jumping ability, the speed. And you talked about it.
The caption.
You said you're not just a speed guy. So, I mean, tell the fans, like, what are the parts of the game that you're going to bring to the table for a franchise?
Everything. I'm an athlete. I do what I need to do for my team. I'm unselfish. So I move around the field and do what I have to do. Like I said, for my organization, I'm ready to make plays and step into whatever role they need me.
There you have it.
I can't wait to see what uniform you're wearing next year. I'm sure like you're really excited about that as well, but we cannot wait to see what happens at the draft. Best of luck, continued success, and stop by anytime.
Yeah,
definitely.
You get here quick, so that works.
All right, and on the other side of the field, where the folks running the PA have decided to besiege us with some of the worst music ever produced, we bring in and we present the premier presenter of predictive analytics. Oh, thank goodness. I've never been so happy to have music out of my life. That was absolutely terrible. Cynthia, let's get into some wide receiver analysis here because we've got ourselves. This is much better. I can't take the bad rock and roll, and that was just god-awful that I was besieged with there a moment ago. Wide receiver fits, Cynthia,
Right.
if you can recover.
Listen,
You're going to have to get that mic way up there.
I would like to say this is not my walk-up music. I don't know. That this would not be it if we were in baseball situations. But
it'll be a nice bed. A bed for your wide receiver analysis is all this is.
Like, keep it nice and smooth, right? So for me, we did this game. We played a game. We took some math, and we fit the wide receivers and their performance with teams that potentially need wide receivers. I wasn't allowed to make any trades. That was kind of the rules of the game.
Okay.
So we just first fit where they should go. So CeeDee Lamb paired very well with the Cardinals at number 8.
I don't know if he and Kyler will have a connection. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Really, I think that
like we've already
probably be okay somewhere, right? Well, one of the indicators here is he had 4 receiving yards per route run in 2019, second most in FBS. That helps project well for space, opening things up, right? The Cardinals had only 1.3 receiving yards per route run last season. That ranked 28th in the NFL. So open it up. Give Kyler Murray some chances. Moving on to Jerry Jeudy. Listen, me and Post Malone here.
Sure.
Right? So
Jerry Jeudy
Raiders. So the 11.1 air yards per target in 2019 and 33 of his 77 receptions going for more than 15 yards. That's 43%. Raiders wide receivers, 9.3 air yards per target. That ranked 30th in the NFL. So a nice fit for something that they could improve on.
Bucky, do you think there's any chance, considering what we saw from CeeDee Lamb yesterday, and it's such a natural fit for the Arizona Cardinals, is there any way Jerry Jeudy gets past the Jets, knowing their needed wide receiver?
Well, I think the Jets have to take a big man. Man, the New York Jets fans would go crazy
yes,
if they don't
need an O-lineman.
Sam Darnold. Jerry Jeudy would be a complimentary piece. And plus, there's so many wide receivers, you don't have to go early to get one. I think you come back late.
All right, let's get a couple more, Cynthia.
All right, so maybe my favorite one in this entire class, just from a tracking perspective, is Justin Jefferson, and I have him as a good fit for the Colts at 13, right? So the interesting part here, 13 touchdowns and 10-plus air yard passes in 2019, number 2 in FBS. That could be a nice fit with T.Y., who's been injured, but last year, remember, Zach Pascal led the team with only 607 receiving yards. They could upgrade there, and like I said, favorite to track, Justin Jefferson. I don't play favorites, but I do play favorites in who's easiest to track.
Ooh.
And then one more.
Who's
got to get the burner in there? I can't do this segment and not have where's Ruggs going?
We love speed.
Where's Ruggs going? Dallas, 17 if he makes it down to there.
Ooh.
Averaged 10.5 yards after the catch per reception in 2019. Third in SEC amongst wide receivers. Both Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, both free agents. The fit there was ridiculous.
Look, the speed is real.
Right.
When you have that
It's
kind
not
of
fake.
speed, if they can have someone that can just anchor the passing game and bring him in as a complementary piece, he certainly can be a big playmaker. And I also like that Justin Jefferson pick to the Colts.
Right.
They need someone that can be a number 1 receiver.
Well, you mentioned the Jets are going to have to take a big man. Well, we get into team needs for big men, the offensive line, and Sean O'Hara going to join us as well to talk about the offensive lineman and what he suspects the Giants will do with that number 4 overall pick. That is coming up next. Combine Today, presented by Verizon. All right, you see the offensive linemen getting ready to go as we are nearing the opening of the Combine, the 2020 Scouting Combine here in Indianapolis, just about 35 minutes out. A few minutes left in the show as we welcome you back to Combine Today, presented by Verizon. Offensive linemen getting loose, and we remind you that along with the offensive linemen, we got running backs that are coming in as well. Here is our Sean O'Hara tweeting out, someone ready for O-line drills, pushing that sled. Look at that. There are new drills. We saw it yesterday, as a matter of fact, here at the Combine with the wide receivers. We had the fade drill, going to have that again today. So O'Hara doing with the sleds, the eyes up. That's some pretty good technique there. Wonder if there's an old man that can maybe teach somebody proper form and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that was Cortland Joy. Right now, she's a butt-kicking leverage machine right now. She's low. She's low. She's got good knee bend. She's got, she's
I like the eyes up.
She's not a heavy-legged waist bender, as Mayock would call her, but
a dancing bear.
Yeah, she's good. There's new drills this year.
Right.
So the sled, I thought that was very appropriate. So I was getting my reps
done.
in. I don't miss those
early.
days. His dad used to yell at me as I was doing those drills, tell me to get low, pump my feet, use the flipper.
I got yelled at about leaving shoes or my grades.
There you go.
I know what it feels like to get yelled at by Larry Zerline.
What are you watching tonight, Sean?
Well, obviously, it's fun to watch the big fellas do the drills. I don't think any of these offensive linemen, the big guys, are really looking forward to running the 40. So once they get out of the way, I think they can breathe a sigh of relief. But obviously, Mekhi Becton, to see him come out here, I think he's a planet. He is enormous. He can block the sun, dominant with his hands. We're not going to see him really get hands on people, but I think the tackle group is phenomenal, and not just him. I mean, I love the guy Wills from Alabama. I think Anthony Thomas, probably one of the most polished guys coming out
Tristan
that I've
Wirfs
seen in the last couple of years. Yeah, Wirfs from Iowa is a stud, very consistent. I'm curious to see Nick Harris. I like his film. I think he's going to excel at these drills today. I think he's going to be lightning in a bottle He's quick twitch. He's all about the explosive movements. So I think this is going to suit him really well.
What do you think the Giants do at 4?
Well,
or what would you advise them to do at 4 if they
look,
asked?
I think they've been needing some upgrades at the tackle position for years. They tried to fix it with Nate Solder. So I think the fact there's a lot of really good tackles in this draft could bode well for them. But I think they're in a great position right now. They've got a franchise quarterback. They've got a generational running back. For 2 years in a row here, they've hit on some really quality high draft picks. Now they can sit back and field offers. So they're in a position where, you know what, with this draft, you could still slide back and still get 2 quality good players at positions that would be of need for them too.
Let's just say it's stick and pick though, and they say, you know what, we want to tackle, Sean. We're coming to you for your expertise. We're going to give Daniel Jones someone to protect his blind side. Which of these guys do you like best?
You know, I still need to see some more from Becton. I think that he's got an unbelievable upside, and man, he is a people mover. I still see some things that need to be cleaned up. So I would need to sit down with him and find out, can he do that? Can he improve, or is this as good as it's going to get? You want a slam dunk right now? I'm taking Thomas from Georgia.
Do you, when you look at Thomas, for example, he's a guy that I always laugh about the fact that resetting your hands is a big deal, right? In pass sets, yeah. He resets his feet. It's like he resets his leverage with his feet, which I think is very unique, but it also shows he understands how to get guys blocked. And ultimately, sometimes we get too caught up in how pretty it looks as opposed to the end result.
Yeah, I mean, there's everybody talks about you got to have great feet to play tackle. Well, you got to be able to change direction, but your hands have got to work in existence with the feet.
Right.
And he does a great job of that. Now you look at his arm length. I mean, the guy's got go-go gadget arms, so that helps out with the punch. So now we can keep them at bay, which helps you redirect when your defender is on the move. So I really like his hand usage. He's got a good punch, but even when that gets knocked down, he's got a good replace. I think you need that, especially in today's NFL with these athletes out in space. You've got to have a counter punch. You've got to have a counter move. So that's why I really like him. But he's been phenomenal. Thomas has been in the run game.
All right.
I mean, his run blocking, he gets a lot of great movement.
I'm gonna wrap it there because I don't want you to have to try
Did
to put
you say
that
rap because they're playing your favorite song?
I don't want you to have to try to.
Money?
I don't want you to have to put the earpiece in your ear one more time. I'm gonna cut.
Yeah.
And also, you're only 30 minutes out of getting this thing going, so you got to kind of get your bounce ready. You know, as you're out there walking around these guys, you got to make sure you kind of get.
I was in the gym with my man Bucky over here this morning. Where were you, Money?
When we return, we'll give you a player to watch in about 30 minutes as Combine today continues, presented by Verizon. All right, we are under a half hour from the start of our second night of our Combine, and that means it is Pro Performances presented by Nike Player you're watching, Bucky.
Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton, Sean O'Hare talked about him being able to dance around, but I want him to dance around like my man did the bear crawl from over here.
That was impressive.
So he wasn't caught in the thing.
That was impressive.
Mekhi Becton has some of that in his ability. If he can do that, I'm all in on him.
Right. Lance?
I'm going Josh Jones, University of Houston. I mean, this is an athletic left tackle. He can really move. I think he's going to be great out here in these athletic drills. I'm looking forward to look at him get out here in space.
Ooh.
This is a high riser. He's going to be a first-round tackle, and I think he's really going to show up and show out here at the Combine.
All right, I'll go running back since you guys went offensive tackle, and that's Josh Kelly. And for people that don't pay attention to UCLA football, and why would you? It's been miserable the last couple seasons, but this is one of the great stories. A UC Davis Division II player ends up working his way, convincing the UCLA coaches he should get a shot. He gets a shot, and all he does 2 years ago is humiliate the Trojans for 260 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got a chance to see him at Senior Bowl. You got a chance to meet
He's been
him.
Great.
A high-quality individual, a heck of a football player. Would love nothing more than to see Josh Kelly put up some big numbers and a big performance tonight and get his way into the NFL, because I do think he will be a productive player.
MJD would be proud of you for coming up with that name, too, as the guy to watch.
Very excited about it. It's Pro Performances presented by Nike. That's going to do it for us. We're going to get out of the way as we are getting ready for the Combine. Second night in primetime, the second of 4 days. And a big thank you to New Era, the official outfitter of the 2020 NFL Scouting Combine. They give us these super sweet outfits. And we are ready to get underway with the Dancing Bears. Hopefully no stiff-hipped waist benders, I think is what you call them. Thanks, everybody, for helping with the production. Thanks for watching. This has been Combine Live and Combine Today presented by Verizon.